We are all equal. It's time that we're all heard. Hello, and thank you so much for tuning into A Voice for All. I trust you've had a pleasant week. And even though Mother Nature has been really chilly with us, let's just hope next week she warms up. Tonight on A Voice for All, my guest is Christine Curtin from Donate Naturally. If at any point you'd like to get involved in the conversation, feel free to tweet me. You could go on the JamFam, on the Facebook page. Lots of resources and community tips for you to check out. And you could always email me and send me a pint of ice cream. I would really appreciate a pint of ice cream. Welcome, Christine.
Hi there.
Thank you for being here. Please tell me about Donate Naturally.
Okay. Thanks so much for having us. We're huge fans of the show. So I run the day-to-day operations of DonateNaturally.com, and what we are is an online grocery store. So all of the products that your family would normally buy at the grocery store, we deliver it to your door. And then what we're doing, which is sort of unique, is we donate 10% of every single order to the charity of the customer's choice. So,
You don't say.
Yeah.
So it's almost like crowdfunding, like you give a little and you get a little for yourself in a way. Okay.
So we're encouraging people to be sort of an everyday philanthropist so they can do their grocery shopping and give back to an organization that they're passionate about all at the same time.
So before we get into what organizations those are, tell me about the types of foods that people could look into on Donate Naturally.
So we have a lot of special diet products. So people that are sort of restricted in what they're eating have a wide selection of things that they can choose from. So people that are trying to cut out gluten from their diet, people that are dairy-free, people that have a nut allergy, things like that. And all of the products are, we call it mom approved. So we have a no-no list of ingredients that none of those products are going to have any of those harmful ingredients in the food that you're going to be feeding your family.
Now, I like how you brought up gluten-free and non-GMO, because with a lot of, whether it's children or adults with disabilities, that's things that they have to be cautious about. Is that something that you guys took into consideration when you were thinking of products?
Absolutely. And the feedback that we've gotten from a lot of the mothers is they love being able to go to our site and just see such a wide variety of gluten-free products. Because studies have shown that eliminating gluten from the diet can have a lot of positive benefits for children on the autism spectrum and things like that.
Good point. Now, talk about the organizations that people could reach out to.
Well, any charity that has a registered charity number can be added to the donation recipient list. Some charities, we have over 200 charities listed on the website right now.
I saw that when I was checking it out.
So some of the charities that we're working with are Geneva Center for Autism, the Special Olympics Canada.
Two previous guests on the show.
And we do a lot of work with sick kids as well. And there's a lot of other charities. Essentially, like I said, any charity is welcome to come on the site and raise donation dollars.
Now, do you find that this is an easier and more popular way for people to donate compared to, you know, writing up a check and sending it to Geneva Center or Special Olympics, but doing it through your method?
Well, these are the groceries that customers are buying anyways every week, so they find it very easy to get their groceries delivered and then not have to worry about sending the monthly donation check, because we take that and we send the donation checks to the organizations ourselves.
Wow. And what's the response you guys have been receiving from these organizations?
They're so grateful for any support that they get. And we also do a lot of donations of, say, hot dogs to fun fairs and things like that. So we'll actually give a product to those events so that they can sell, and all of the proceeds obviously go back to that organization.
So it goes beyond online services.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
So you guys help local events? Is there anything else that you guys do?
A lot of, we work with a lot of schools in the community. So if there's high needs schools, we work with Breakfast Clubs of Canada as well to provide them with products that they can feed to the schools that are in need.
Wow, so you help with the breakfast wow. So what don't you guys do at Donate Naturally?
Well, the company was started by a Toronto mother of two who was having trouble fundraising for her causes that she was passionate about. So this is just an easier way to do that.
And with the community, you know, coming onto your website, what other things would you recommend that people could do to support these types of charities?
Just building awareness. Like, the more people are aware of the charities and what they're trying to do and what the message is for that charity, the more people are passionate to get involved and to donate to the charity.
Now, are there any passions or causes that are close to your heart that's separate from Donate Naturally?
Well, I'm an equestrian, so anything sort of animal related always sort of touches my heart. And then one of the charities that we just added as well is CARD, which is the Community Association for Riding for the Disabled. So it actually brings children and adults that are disabled and allows them to get on a horse if they've never been on a horse before.
Wow. And where is this?
That is in Toronto, actually. Yeah, so that's one of the organizations obviously I'm quite passionate about.
And how long has that been going on for?
They've been around for a long time, I think over 20 years.
Wow,
So,
I never knew that. And off topic, I know it has nothing to do with Donate Naturally, but there's so many families who feel that horses and dolphins are such, I guess, spiritual animals that go hand in hand with working with their children. What would you say to that, since you're so passionate about horses?
Well, I've seen it firsthand, these children that are sort of closed in and nonverbal, and they get close to an animal like that, and something about it just it opens them up, and they're so much more expressive. So to see that it's pretty special, it's pretty amazing.
And do you think that's something that Donate Naturally would perhaps get involved in or expand into?
Yeah, we support a lot of charities to do with animals, and again, a lot of charities to do with assisting the disabled.
And now, future work. Where do you see Donate Naturally going?
We're really sort of branching into the sort of natural organic meat sector. So we really are focusing on selling meat that is antibiotic and hormone free, as well as free range and grass fed. Just sort of getting back to the way that we used to eat, and eating food that is just free of chemicals and things like that. So we're really pushing that message.
Do parents mention anything about the products that they choose and perhaps how it affects their children or it doesn't affect their children?
Yeah, again, like the behavioral issues, again, can be attributed from taking gluten or dairy out of the diet in some cases. Obviously, every case is very individual.
Absolutely.
But we're very open to bringing new products onto the site, so our customers are always contacting us about new and interesting products that we add to the site for them. So
if I was a parent or a local organization and I wanted to get involved with Donate Naturally, what is the criteria for that?
Essentially, they can just send me an email, and then I can set them up on the donation recipient list. So when customers are shopping and they go to checkout, your charity will be listed on the drop-down menu, and then those donations are channeled towards your charity.
Now, like I said, if you are a parent or an organization who is tuning in and you are looking to partner perhaps with Donate Naturally, this is a really good cause, because as I was telling Christine, it's really hard to fundraise and donate nowadays, and now you're finding a service that you could support yourself and support somebody else. Perhaps you're an organization who's looking for funds. I encourage you, the information's at the bottom of the screen. You could email Christine, you could find out how you could get your I guess your group up on there. Do you have like a little write-up about the organizations, or is it just their name that's listed? Like if I went on your site, can I hover over the person's name and know what they're about?
Generally, we work with the organizations by cross-posting to their social media. So we'll do a call out on our social media, and in turn, they'll do the same. And it just makes their database aware that this is another more unique way that they can donate to the organization.
And you know, there was a question I meant to ask you initially. How long has Donate Naturally been in the works?
We're fairly new. We've only been around for about 3 years.
And you're doing all this after 3 years?
Yeah, we're still growing, so.
Wow. And do you work with volunteers, or do you work with maybe small business owners who would like to partner with you guys? Like, how do you determine which food is appropriate to be within your organization?
Well, we have a few sister companies sort of under our umbrella as well, one being Life Choices Foods, which does all natural and responsibly raised meat. So they donate a lot of items to our charities and things like that. Another one is Grandview Farms, and again, that's going back to the organic grass-fed meat again.
And are they Canadian businesses?
They're all Canadian, yeah, primarily based in Toronto area.
Wow, so really close to home.
Yeah, we
like
love
30 minutes close to home.
Right, exactly. We love supporting Canadian companies and Canadian products featured on the website.
So for people who are watching, what are, a few points you'd like them to know about Donate Naturally and the importance of supporting an organization like yours?
Essentially, like I said before, you're buying these groceries anyways to feed your family. We're only carrying the best brands with the best ingredients for your family. So if you're going to be buying them at the grocery store anyways, why not sort of channel some of that money back to an organization that you're passionate about? And you can feel good about feeding your family and donating as well.
And saving some time.
Exactly.
And gas.
Exactly.
from traveling out there.
Yeah.
Christine has given us so many good points on, especially healthy eating. Season 1, we did focus a bit on that, but it was good to touch base on it again, because if you are a parent, perhaps an individual or an educator, I always recommend that, when you're looking into a behavior plan or a treatment plan, look at the diet. Diet is a key component to a child's healthy well-being. And for moms and dads, this is definitely a good way to go. You're doing such good things for the community in terms of, your focus is not just on one niche, it's across the board with the different organizations that you guys are supporting. So I just want to wrap it up, and is there any last-minute thoughts you just want to throw out there about, where do you guys see yourself going in the upcoming years?
Yeah, we just want to increase the number of charities that we're helping, and who knows, right now we're in Ontario, but we would love to go across Canada with this idea as well.
Take it aboard. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Donate Naturally. Thank you so much for being a guest. And like I said, if you have any questions for Christine, her information is at the bottom of the screen, and I will be showing it to you afterwards. If you'd like to contact me, tweet me, send me emails. Maybe you have a show suggestion. I'd love to hear from you. This has been A Voice for All. I'll catch you after the break where we have Everyone Games. Tune in. For more information, visit www.donatenaturally.com or call them at 416-461-0350. Hello, thank you for tuning in to A Voice for All. I am your host, Jamila Gamble. Like I said, any point you want to join in this conversation, feel free to tweet me, email me, join the Jam Fam. All the information that you hear on the show, whether it's the contact information or the websites, you will find on the Jam Fam page on Facebook, so be sure to check that out. Now, I feel like I should have my feet up and have a bowl of munchies because we're talking gaming, but not your typical kind of gaming. Is that right, Sarah?
That is absolutely correct.
Welcome from Everyone Games.
Thank you.
Love the name Everyone Games because literally everyone games, but this is a certain group right now that we're talking about. Tell me, please, take it over about Everyone Games.
All right, so at Everyone Games, we teach video game design and development to teens and adults on the autism spectrum.
And stop. Whoa! How awesome is that, though? Because, people watch movies and they're like, oh, people with autism are savants and they know how to count, toothpicks and count cards. But they could be gamers, too, the same games you could buy.
That's true, yeah. And a lot of people think that, when I say that we teach video game design to teens on the spectrum, they're like, oh, so you make games for them. But that's not what happens.
No.
They come to us, and it's a social skills program first. And we teach them game development and game design and work together as a team. So they're the ones actually making the game. It's all their ideas, and we scope out the project, we give everybody jobs, and we literally work together for the whole program to accomplish a game, or at least as much as we can.
I can only imagine how super creative some of these games might be, because some of the students I've worked with, their imaginations are like beyond this world. So putting that in a game now, I could imagine it's totally killer.
It's pretty amazing. So the advanced group in St. Catharines, the advanced group are people who have gone through once before, so kind of have an idea of what we're doing. They actually made a game called Through Todd's Eyes. And what it was is a way for them to express what it was like to have autism or to experience social anxiety. It was absolutely amazing. They used a bunch of resources and games that they thought were like good examples of how to use video game design as a medium of expression.
Right.
It was incredible. The anxiety that they chose to put into the game were things like the itchy sweater monster, things like
I love that.
yeah,
The tags?
yeah,
The tags.
yeah, itchy tags, a belt monster, making decisions, hot water alarm clock, and ultimately we ended up with a very small boy in a very large and noisy world.
Wow.
And
That's
bullies.
really profound.
And bullies. They included bullies. And my favorite part was what reset your anxiety in the game was actually talking to your mother.
Getting back to your zen, back to the zone. But you know what? There's one thing you didn't mention. How did you even come up with Everyone Games?
Good question. Yeah, so I was the lead of Autism Ontario's teen community group in St. Catharines.
They were also on the show too.
Oh, really? Awesome. Yeah. And at the same time, I was actually going to school for English Lit and Interactive Arts and Science, which is like the fancy way of saying video games. And I would come to program and I'd tell my kids, you know, these are the games that we're making. This is what I'm doing at school. And they'd just ask me, well, how do I get into games? And not just how do I get into games, but how do I get into school for games?
Right.
Which was really specific. And I said, well, you know, let me show you. So we had a one evening workshop at Brock University, and now it's a full 5-day program operating in the GTA at the Chang School, as well as continuing in Brock.
Wow. So recently I know you had your March break program. Tell me how that
Yes,
went.
we did. It was so amazing. We doubled our numbers from the winter break, so we had a full class of 13 kids, 13 teens, sorry, between 12 and 20 years old.
Right.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
And what did they leave with? I know they left with the skills of coding and knowing how to make games, but what did they really leave with?
Friendship, a sense of self, and honestly, they didn't want to leave,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. The last day of program, everybody we were all connected with each other, and it really was about making authentic connections with each other. So because everybody comes in at different levels, and maybe somebody's not so interested in coding or not so interested in the art aspects of things, we actually have students that say, you know, I'm not into computers, but this is the place where I've never felt more comfortable with my peers.
Right. And, you know, with the parents that you guys work with, how do the parents feel that there's not a camp where they're learning how to shoot a bow and arrow or go swimming, but this is something that's really geared to their interests?
Yeah, you know, they're appreciative. You know, I get thanked a lot. And I think it is because we're striving to help transition into life after high school.
Right.
And something that's more practical and something that is meaningful to them. So, you know, going over things like how to apply to post-secondary school is a huge deal.
So it goes beyond gaming.
Oh yeah, way beyond
It really
gaming.
goes beyond gaming, like you said, like you're preparing them. And I want to go back to one point you said about life after high school. I know for some parents, you know, typical parents or neurotypical parents, their child's applying to school and it's a joyous time, you know, getting those applications. But for parents who have child, you know, on the spectrum or with a disability, it's actually a really scary moment. You know, how do you work with the families in those types of moments?
You know, it is a scary moment because there's not a solid support system in place in post-secondary right now. So typically what we do right now is just go through, you know, what you need to do, and more so, how do you communicate your accommodation, and how do you identify your accommodation, and how do you get that across to the instructor? Because you actually have to go through the disability department, and the instructors won't do any accommodation unless the disability department tells them to.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, so what we're trying to do is actually figure out a way and talk to these post-secondary schools and figure out a way to make that communication tighter so that you as the student can directly speak to the instructor about your accommodation and continue to make that accommodation, because it changes day to day. So what you tell the disability department when you're applying to school might not be the accommodation that you need mid-year.
Right.
And there has to be something
Because you could
that
grow.
you can do.
You could grow and change, and you no longer need that skill. So how did you come up with the name Everyone Games? It's so simple, but it's so impactful.
You know, I don't even know.
It's nice.
I don't know.
But that's how you know you
I
love
don't
what you
even
do.
know.
Yeah.
I don't even know. You know, I just wanted something catchy, and I used the number 1 because we're elite like that. So if you don't know what elite is, it's using the numbers to spell out letters
Whoa.
in your gamer tag.
Mind blown. That's what I'm feeling right now. I feel like I am getting into the gaming world, and what I love so much about what you guys are doing is that students who I work with now who, you know, they're drawing comics or they're, you know, talking about a dream they had or a show they watched, and they have all these creative juices. Now I know there's something that they could channel that into.
Absolutely.
And I don't have to not believe just because they have a disability or they have autism that they cannot be a future gamer and go to gaming conferences. Did you guys have a gaming conference?
Absolutely. We actually had an autism conference.
Yes, that's what it was.
That's right. It's the Autism Friendly Unconference. And we had it at the Digital Media Zone, which is where our office is right now. And it was a really different sort of conference because what we did was we brought out people from the community who were autistic and willing to speak about their perspectives and
Love
their
that.
experience. It wasn't about hearing what the researcher had to say or what the organizations were doing. It was about, you know, what do you want and what do you need and how can we have that conversation?
That must have been such a powerful moment.
It was so good. When you register to come to the conference, we ask you to either suggest a topic or ask a question, and then that became the agenda for the day so that we can actually address what's most meaningful to the people who are coming to the event. And it was just spectacular. The topics were just...
What were some of the topics that we discussed?
You know, it was things like life after high school, things like autism in the workplace, autism at school, autism across the lifespan.
What about relationships?
Yes, absolutely. Autism in relationships was a big one, and women and autism as well was another big one.
I know that's a really big
Yeah.
discussion right now is women and autism. And from what I remember when you and I were talking, there was gluten-free snacks.
There certainly was. Yes.
You guys made sure you had all your bases covered. Now, what was the environment like? Was there like dim lighting? Was there like STEM toys? Like, did you guys have everything there for them?
Absolutely. So the Edge Lab, another organization that works with children and disabilities, they helped us design a low anxiety and multisensory environment.
Wicked.
So we actually had a whole bunch of different types of chairs, beanbag chairs, comfy chairs, not so comfy chairs if that's your thing, lots of different STEM toys.
Cool.
And it helped us have that conversation of, you know, you can be professional and still be comfortable. And you can be playing
Absolutely.
with something and looking over there, but still be focusing and paying attention.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't look the same as what someone might be used to.
Absolutely. So, with that said, what is the future of Everyone Games? Where do you see yourself going?
I would love to see Everyone Games all across Ontario, and that's what we're working on right now. Being in 2 different locations right now, we are figuring out what exactly we need to do to be able to offer this to more places across Ontario. I know that they're really lacking service in different parts of Ontario, so we want to be able to help the smaller communities as well as the larger cities like Toronto. But also our curriculum is in line with the grade 12 University English in Ontario's curriculum. So a lot of kids coming into college or going in to apply for college don't realize that even if they're into computer science, to get into the game design program, you need to have a good English grade in high school.
So you're getting them ready for that.
So I'm getting ready for that, and eventually I'd like to say, well, you know what, can you recognize Everyone Games as that alternate credit? Because here I have this assessment, and here I have these kids who are amazing, and they understand their media studies, they understand the text that we're reading, they're using these things to create their own, and they're doing everything the English curriculum tells them that they need to know. They're just not doing it the same way you do it in English class at school.
You've heard it. Sarah has told us everything about Everyone Games. If you have any questions for her, feel free to go at the bottom of the screen. This has been another great episode of A Voice for All, and I will catch you guys next week. Everyone Games. For more information, visit www.everyonegames.ca or call them at 416-697-8625.